Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Total Football Talk. I'm Keith, the host of this little channel, and we're going to look at all the latest news and transfer news that's coming out surrounding Manchester United. And as always, we are linked with all kinds of players, and we will jump in, have a look, maybe have a laugh, maybe discuss, break down a little bit of the information that's coming out. Some of this stuff is about strikers, which are crazy. There's quite a few strikers that have been sort of offered up to us, which I would love to think that we're just going to turn away, because I have no idea where we stand on a lot of this stuff, considering the situation that we're in, lack of players coming in, lack of players going out. We'll also look at some information that's coming out about the Amazon Prime deal that is not going to go ahead, a little bit about Alejandro Garnacho, Douglas Luiz from Juventus, a price tag has apparently been set there, and a little bit about Bryan Mbeumo as well. But as I said, it's the striker situation first and foremost that is the most interesting, if you want to use that as a word. It's the most interesting sort of scenario that we need to delve into. It ain't a good one, and we are certainly not going to be happy about it. But guys, if you're liking the content, thank you very much for joining me. If you could give this a like, it would be fantastic. Give us a little thumbs up, give us a subscription. If you have any thoughts on anything I talk about, jump in below. I'd love to hear from you so I can get back to you. If you're not subscribed, you won't be able to do that, so subscription's free. Jump in, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. But let's move on with the top story, and that is that Manchester United are being linked with Fiorentina's striker Moise Kean at a sort of in and around €52 million, which is working out. I think he's got a release clause of 44.8 million. United are the Premier League club, the only Premier League club to have shown any interest in the 25-year-old. According to The Athletic. Now, obviously, this is coming out from a really good source. The Athletic have lots of, they have quality people that speak to Manchester United. So I believe there's something in this, whether there's actually a long-term story to run with this, whether we actually even start making bids, etc. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just really... what do you good people out there think? Moise Kean, do you think he'd be a good sign for Manchester United? I mean, for me, it's a no. I don't think he's of the level we need. I think the Italian league is slower. I think he's maybe done well because he's gone there from the Premier League. He was at Everton. He didn't really break. He didn't pull up any branches when he was there. And I don't think if he was to come back to Manchester United, he would be the person who gets any United fan excited in any shape, way, or form. It's absolute. It's a bit of a madness. But the other side is we're starting to run out of options. Is Moise Kean going to be the Gyökeres of Ruben Amorim's, like he did with Sporting, brought in Gyökeres from the Championship and made him into what he is now? Is Moise Kean the type of player that Ruben Amorim thinks he could turn and mould into the type of player that could lead his attack going forward? Yeah, he is the right age. He does have Premier League experience, but as I said, it didn't go very well. Players have gone away before. Mo Salah, De Bruyne have gone away before from the Premier League, come back and gone on to be phenomenal talents. Does he kind of fall into that category? I can see both sides. I'm not really sure. For me, I've never seen enough in him. I've not seen enough of him. I didn't see enough of him in him when he played in the Premier League. I haven't really seen much of him since he's left the Premier League. Obviously with Fiorentina now. It would be, is this desperation? Is this who Amon really wants? I don't think that's any of it. I think we're choice E, F, and G now, looking in the striker situation. We do need a striker, and maybe he will be the person who will come in. He will have a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's already failed in the Premier League. Manchester United is a place that can cripple careers. Even if you've done well before, you've come either back to the Premier League or you've already been in the Premier League. So a lot of pressure on him should he be the one to come in. But, what do you good people out there think? Do you think Manchester United would go for this? Do you think this is a deal we should go for? Is it the right price? Excuse me. I mean, the options are very, very limited now. I don't know who we can get. Arshman's gone. Delap's gone. Gyökeres is gone. Sesko, I don't think we can even go near because he's maybe too expensive. I don't even know if he would properly fit Ruben Amorim's system. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are in terms of that. Now, this is the next story, and this is again striker related. And apparently Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign several free agents, including Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jimmy Vardy, and Callum Wilson. However, it's expected that they only advance on them in late in the window, if they don't get any of their top targets. I mean, this is absolutely scandalous if Manchester United were to go near any of those three players. Callum Wilson is a very good player, but Newcastle let him go, so they're clearly kind of moving in a different direction. Everton obviously have let Dominic Calvert-Lewin go. I don't know if they offered him a new contract, but I don't think he's good enough. I think Rasmus is better than him, and Rasmus had a terrible season last year. And then you've got Jamie Vardy, who is just, excuse me, an awful cough at the minute. Jamie Vardy is just someone who is past it. He had his day in the Premier League. He even showed last year. Not that he wasn't sort of awful. He's just, the lad has kind of come to the end of his career. And is this what we're looking at? As I said, Moise Kean was, being talked about, obviously. 3 players being offered. I would hope that we stay away from all these 3 players. I mean, Callum Wilson, injury prone. Calvert-Lewin, injury prone. Jamie Vardy, at the end of his career. What are we doing as a club if we were to even contemplate bringing any of these 3 players in? I know other YouTubers who I respect, and I kind of watch their stuff. They talked about Calvert-Lewin potentially being a backup to a main striker, and maybe not Rasmus but someone else. I could kind of get on board with that a little bit. I see the sense that makes if you brought Calvert-Lewin in, but he wasn't your main striker. If he's your main striker, we're in trouble. But if he was to come in behind someone else, and at this stage I'm not even sure, maybe you had a Moise Kean and you had a Calvert that much at this particular juncture. I just don't know. Maybe it will, but massive gamble. And can Manchester United be affording to take these types of gambles, considering the situation we were in last year? I don't think we can, but I think we're in trouble. And we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. And as it says, we've done it before. We've led it to the very end of the transfer window to bring players in. My God, we could just do it again, and it would be absolutely shocking. Now, this was something that was breaking last night. Manchester United end secret talks over a record-breaking Amazon deal in excess of £10 million after months of dialogue. Ruben Amorim's opposed to this, and Manchester United are aligned with his final decision. So I think with this, this would have been box office. This would have been the numbers. This would have attracted. Would have been unbelievable. But rightly so, Amorim does not want to see the shit show that's going on behind the scenes, because it's a disgrace, and we'll only be laughed at even more. I mean, we laughed at enough. So from Amorim's point of view, I totally get it. From a fan's point of view, I can imagine we all would love to see the absolute nonsense that takes place behind the scenes. It'd be absolutely farcical. I mean, it would make headlines every week. And do we need the PR? I mean, in some ways, they say, bad PR is like good PR. As long as you're getting PR, it doesn't matter. But I just think it would be it would be a shambles. And having kind of worked in the industry myself, I could imagine it would be bedlam to work in. It would be brilliant to work in. But I also think it would be catastrophic for Ruben Amorim going forward. So I get his point of view. From the fans' point of view, they probably do want to see it. But that was the news that was coming out on Amazon, 10 million plus. Manchester United turned it down, so maybe they do have some kind of ability to kind of foresight to see the future and make a decent decision for the team rather than a decision for the club and making money. Okay, I'm moving on to the last few little bits of news. According to Laurie Whitwell, London appeals to Alejandro Garnacho and Chelsea remain interested. Sources say that Manchester United want 70 million for him, but the club are insisting they haven't set any price yet. Well, I don't know. I mean, Garnacho wants what he wants. He's done what he's done with the Aston Villa jersey and social media. I think, unfortunately, he's disrespected the club. I don't think he can come back. We do have to sell him. We do have to find a price. How much is he worth? Get your comments in below. Do you think he's worth 70 million? I think in the current climate, he's worth maybe 60, sort of 50 to 60 million. Maybe he's in around the Mbeumo, but he's got potential to go on and do even more. If we did get 70 million, great. I don't think we're getting 70 million for him. Not a chance in hell. Be a bloody miracle if we got 70 million for him. We've already told him that he's not part of the club and he has to go, as already devalued him. So I think we're already kind of set on that one. We'll have to wait and see whether he goes to Chelsea or not. Chelsea need to sell players first. Madueke Madueke to Arsenal looks like it's potentially going to happen. So maybe they will have some money to bring in another player. But this was another story that had come out, and this was Juventus are set with a €25 million price tag for Douglas Luiz, and Manchester United have made inquiries. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that is that there is a bit of news on that, and Manchester United are looking into it, but I actually don't know whether we're going to get a midfielder. I think he would be a good signing for us. I've mentioned it before. Well, I think we have to sell to buy. We will get some money from the Elanga deal, anywhere between 5 and 8 million when Newcastle do the deal and the transfer goes through. Looks like that is actually going to happen. Fabrizio Romano had the here we go yesterday. So we will get some money from that. I just don't know whether we should be really using that money for this particular bit of news. And that is, third bid for Bryan Mbeumo could come, but some sources suggest that deal is not imminent. Brentford want more than the 62.5 million because João Pedro has moved from Chelsea, and Newcastle 55 million for Elanga. He has only strengthened their case. Those players have moved. They've moved for significant amounts of money, or they're about to move for significant amounts of money. Brentford want to hold out and get what they can, the largest amount of money they can for Mbeumo. This deal is dragging on. This is horrific. This is Frankie de Jong all over again. If United get the money for Elanga, just use a couple of extra million, pay them what they want, get this deal across the line, get it finished, because we're wasting so much time on this deal when we need to do others. We need to get players out the door. We need to bring in another couple of players at the least, which I don't even know if it's going to happen. I'm not even holding my breath because God, I'd end up dying. But yeah, that's where we are with all this. It's just a load of shambolic nonsense from our club, constantly leaving us and the supporters in the darkness. Not able to function properly, not able to get deals across the line, not able to get players out the door. And I just feel Ruben Amorim is on a slippery slope at the minute. He hasn't got the players in he needs for pre-season. He's going back to work with the players that failed him last season. And I just don't really know how we move forward as a team, as a club, and how we progress next year, because we finished 15th. We'll be lucky to finish in the top 10 at this rate with the lack of activity. Things can change over the next couple of weeks, and I'll hold my hands up if they do. Great. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. I just see a scramble at the end of the transfer window and all hell breaking loose. And who knows, starting the start of the season with a couple of defeats, and we maybe do Glazonomics, jump in, get a couple of really dodgy buys, and pray to God that Amorim stays in the job for a while. But it's not looking good. It's a long, protracted summer, and we're failing as a club once again. But thank you for joining me, people. I will leave it there, and I will see you tomorrow on the next one. Let's hope we have some better news to bring you.